go! What's up, everybody? It's Simply Mason, back again. I don't ever upload this consistently. It's weird. It's a weird feeling, but it feels good. Today I'm going to be talking about David Fincher. David Fincher is one of the best directors of all time, one of my favorites, and I want to rank his movies. He has 11 movies. Only like a couple stinkers, but the bad ones are pretty bad, not gonna lie. He has my favorite movie of all time, and we'll get to that eventually. But that's kind of why I wanted to talk about David Fincher. He is basically a god in my eyes. I really look up to him. He has such a unique style too. He makes a lot of psychological thrillers, which is, again, like my favorite genre. So without further ado, I guess, like, let's just get into it. Let's talk about him, and let's talk about the movies that he has made in his career and rank them. So, if you don't know, this is David Fincher right here. He started out in, like, 1992 making Alien 3. The other movies he made or like Seven, which we'll get to later, and like Fight Club, and all these kind of things. So we'll talk about him later. Like I said, he is super influential. He has a very unique style. In most of his movies, he makes things with really low lighting. He has a lot of plot twists, which I really like. But with all that being said, let's get into number 11, like his worst movie, because truly this movie is not good. This is David Fincher's first movie, Alien 3. It is not good. This is why I have it at 11, because it is a bad movie. It ruins the Alien franchise for me. Look, the first one is a masterpiece. The second one might even be better than the first. But the third one, it ruins the franchise for me. It takes place in a prison. First of all, why? And I mean, look, Sigourney Weaver has a good performance in it. Can't get me wrong on that. But David Fincher, what are you doing, man? I mean, I get it. It's your first feature. If I was given Alien 3, I would not have done anything near as good as what you could have done. But it's my least favorite movie because it ruins a whole franchise for me. It's probably his worst movie. This one just doesn't hit the mark. But good thing you'll have 10 more chances to make good movies. Number 10, we have Mink. It is so boring. Oh my, people love this movie. I don't get it. I like old Hollywood movies. I love learning about, like, movies about, you know, the 1930s. That's interesting to me. I would have loved to hear about Mankiewicz writing Citizen Kane, but not in this way. Gary Oldman, he gave a great performance. We can't take that away. Make this more interesting. David Fincher only shoots on digital, which is fine. You can shoot on digital, but don't make it look like film. It doesn't come across like that, and it makes it weird. It makes it really weird. Please don't make it look like you shot in 35mm or something. Please. Don't make your movies so boring when you're talking about old Hollywood. You can make them interesting. But maybe that just comes from me not liking black and white movies that much or something, but I don't know. You missed the mark, bro. I'm sorry. It's not good. Number 9 is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And what can I say about this movie? It is so strange. They had to make a decision, and I get that. David Fincher, I don't know if he was the one to make this decision, but he was probably up there making this decision. He looks old, but really he's young, right? Why did you make the decision for him being like 1 year old and having arthritis? Please explain that to me. He's 8 years old and he has to use a wheelchair. He can't walk. What is up with that? He's supposed to just like look old. He looks like he's 98. I get that, but he's only 8. He shouldn't have arthritis. Like, that should not be a thing that's happening in his life. For some reason, when he gets younger, though, he has more capabilities. Like, he's able to move better. Like, what? He's getting older. He should have more problems. He just looks young now. This is not, like, this decision was very weird for me. Also, Brad Pitt looks so straight. Look up any photo from the movie of, like, when Brad Pitt is young but looks old. It looks creepy. It looks extremely, extremely creepy. This movie is like the definition of mid to me. Everything is okay. I'll give it. The cinematography is out of this world. The acting, it's alright. It's okay. The directing is okay. The craziest thing to me is this movie was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture, I'm pretty sure. And like, how can this be somebody's favorite movie, like, of the year? Anyways, I just want to get off of number 9 because, like, we have so many better movies to talk about, and I'm done just, like, ranting about, like, bad things that David Fincher like decides to do, because the rest of them are good, and I'm gonna be happy to talk about them. This makes me like bummed. Genuinely, it makes me bummed. Enough about The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Let's go to number 8. I think is yeah, Panic Room. Good movie. I like it. It's good enough. Basically, there's some really good performances in it. Jodie Foster is a mom in it, and Kristen Stewart, it's her debut role, I'm pretty sure. But I think it's a pretty interesting story. Basically, it takes place in one home. The whole story is in one home. Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart are mom and daughter, and they just move into this home. And in this home, there is a panic room. An interesting aspect of this movie is Jodie Foster has like claustrophobia. So I think that's an interesting route they took with the movie. But basically, there's 3 guys that are trying to break into this home and get to the panic room. And I think Forest Whitaker gives a pretty good performance. I mean, he's always good. But then you have Jared Leto, who has like cornrows for some unknown reason. Jared Leto is a meme at this point. After Morbius, after like House of Gucci, he's kind of just a meme in my brain. I saw this movie before those movies came out, but I don't know. I just can't take him serious at this very moment. The reason I have it rated the same as Benjamin Button is because it doesn't do anything crazy. I mean, it is very isolated. Again, it takes place in one home. It's good enough. The story is good enough. The camera movements, everything. It's good enough. I like it. But I wouldn't say this is upper echelon. It's not really saying anything about society or anything like that. Some of the other movies that he makes are, but this movie, it's a fun watch if you want to see Kristen Stewart. But other than that, I wouldn't say this is something that makes me think hard. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. It's a movie. It's a movie. So check it out if you're interested in Panic Room type things. All right, so this is number 7. This is The Game. Everything from this point on is basically just a banger from Fincher. This movie and going up until 1 is just like some of my favorite type of stuff. Again, this is a thriller. David Fincher's best known for that. But the reason that this is kind of lower than the rest of them is because of the writing. The writing is decent, but nothing amazing. And there's a couple of unanswered questions toward the very end of the movie that I don't really like how the movie ended. Michael Douglas, he's really funny in the movie. This is a thriller. I understand that, but me watching Michael Douglas just kind of go slowly insane from not knowing what reality is and him being like, what is real? What is not? It kind of makes me laugh every time. But basically, he's just like a banker. He's like a really sleazy banker who receives this game from his brother, and the game is like a social experiment trying to like make him question reality. It's a great concept, which is why I like it. The only thing I would say is, again, that writing. The ending doesn't make me happy, but the rest of the movie, it's fun, and you're just kind of following Michael Douglas throughout his like curious adventure. Good job, David Fincher. All right, so number 6 for me is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's also a 4, just like The Game. But the reason that this is higher is because of a couple reasons. The score is probably the best score from 2011. Like, it's just beautiful. And then the setting. You are really immersed. It was supposed to be taking place in Sweden. And I don't know if it was shot there, but hey, like you can tell, it's beautiful. It really is. Also, Rooney Mara gives like one of the best performances. Daniel Craig is basically an investigator trying to investigate this conspiracy that happened, and then Rooney Mara kind of helps out. But I don't know, watching Rooney Mara just like sit there working on her computer, and she looks crazy. She has this crazy hair, tattoos everywhere. It's kind of funny. This movie is not funny though. It's one of the most intense movies I think I've ever watched. The runtime is crazy. After a while, you're just like, oh my God, I need a break, because you're just watching intense thing after intense thing after intense thing. I think that's a reason it probably is lower than the others, because the runtime is very long. But other than that, look, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is amazing. It really is. Great performances. Stellan Skarsgård is great as well, but very, very intense. If you can deal with that for a long time, you'll like this. I don't know. It makes, like, after a while, I did start to be like, okay, I'm tired. I need a break. I need a little break right now. But again, this movie's great. I would recommend this for sure. Now we're gonna go into 5, basically top 5 of Fincher. All of these are probably some of the best things he's ever done. So we'll talk about them once we get to 5. So Fight Club is 5, and it's controversial, I know. But this is where we really have to start getting into personal favorites, I think. Look, Fight Club it's amazing. It truly is. The twist is great. If you can pick up on the twist early, then you're better than me. Because the first time I saw this, I didn't really know. And it's really good. But the reason it's 5 for me is because the others are just more interesting to me, and there's nothing wrong with Fight Club. Okay, there's nothing wrong with Fight Club. It's a great movie, of course. But personally, I don't know. It's just something about it just doesn't scream it's for me. It has a great thing on, like, you know, the corporate world, insomnia a little bit, and there's some serious, like, issues that are being talked about in the movie, but the ending is kind of strange for me a little bit. I do think it's fun, like, I don't know, once the twist is kind of revealed, and you see, like, you know, certain things happening, you're kind of like, okay, I get it a little bit, but I don't know, the ending, once the twist is revealed, there's still, like, a little bit of time left. I'm just like, all right, like, I'm good now. But everything else about this is amazing. Brad Pitt is one of my favorite actors. I mean, Tyler Durden, come on. It's such an iconic character, Tyler Durden. And I mean, he's just like a fashion icon too, isn't he? So, great movie. But the other ones are better. Sorry to say for the big Fight Club fans out there, I'm sorry. It's just not my favorite. Not my favorite. All right. This is where it's at right here. This is number 4 for me. The Social Network is almost peak cinema. Okay? Jesse Eisenberg, oh my God. He is playing Mark Zuckerberg to a T. It's so good. It's so good. Andrew Garfield gives an amazing performance. Justin Timberlake is in it. He gives an amazing performance. Do recommend, if you haven't seen this, you watch it. It's about Mark Zuckerberg is starting Facebook, of course. I don't know if it's really aged super well because of all the Armie Hammer stuff that has been kind of coming out, but it doesn't matter. Armie Hammer is playing 2 characters in this. I don't care about all that for this. He came out with a movie, in 2010 and 2011, back to back, just good movies. And everything about this just screams like it's for me. The dialogue in this movie is so good. I think I remember like every single scene from this. And I watched this in class. Different, man. It's just so good. I know it got like nominated for some stuff. It didn't get the things it deserved. Because once you see this, I think you'll just be like thinking about it for a long time. I know I was. I know, like, once I saw it in class, I can vividly see every single scene. And it's been a while since I've seen it too. Jesse Eisenberg. Great performance. Great dialogue. Good movie, man. Good movie. You should watch it. Number 3 is Gone Girl. Again, it's controversial. Why is it higher than Fight Club? You might be asking. Because this is storytelling, man. This is storytelling. Rosamund Pike, she's a great storyteller, and then you realize, oh, she's a faulty storyteller. It's crazy. I think the Post-it notes are iconic. I know this was a book, and some people might have a problem if they read the book. They're like, it's not as good. Okay, who cares? People might have read the book, and they might be upset about it. I get that. Who cares? This is not a book. This is the movie. It's about a disappearing wife. Ben Affleck is basically people thinking he did it. Did he do it? Who knows? It's so thrilling though. This movie is so thrilling. It's storytelling at its finest. It really is. David Fincher is a storyteller. He does psychological thrillers the best. I don't know if he does pure thrillers the best. That might be Alfred Hitchcock, but psychological thrillers, I think he does the best. I know some people had a problem with like Neil Patrick Harris's character, and I get that. You know, you don't know what you're missing until it's gone. And I think that is really true about this movie. Very, very good. I think I recommended it to some friends, and I don't know if they really liked it that much, but you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. I love this movie. Gone Girl is a personal favorite of mine, for sure. Number 2 is Zodiac. This movie, I'm just going to keep saying the word intense because that's basically what all of these movies are. The reason it's so high for me is because, again, the storytelling is really good. It's also a true story about true crime. I love those kind of stories. I love those kind of movies. They're interesting to me. Jake Gyllenhaal is just another one of my favorite actors, and yeah, he gives that performance. He gives it a great, amazing performance. Other notable people, Robert Downey Jr. kind of goes a little crazy. He drinks a little bit. Mark Ruffalo is like a policeman, and he gives a great performance. But yeah, man, this movie and the next movie, I would recommend the most. I think these movies are things you need to watch. I could watch another 2 hours of this movie if it was possible. The reason I have this movie so high, though, at the very beginning, you get to see the Zodiac Killer. Nobody's ever seen the Zodiac Killer. Nobody knows what he looks like. But you look at the Zodiac Killer. You see him in his little outfit. And you see the things that go down, that really went down from stories told. That's basically what this movie is. It's like a little fake on what kind of happened, but most of it's real. Most of it is true, but they blended the true story to the screen so well that it makes for such an interesting story, and you just stay so engaged. The things that Jake Gyllenhaal goes on, the adventures he goes on, man, like, let me say this again. Zodiac is better than Gone Girl. It's better than Fight Club. Zodiac is that movie, but it's not the best movie. And I don't care. Like, I don't care. I get some people think this is kind of overrated. That's fine. But for me, it has such an integral part of my life that it probably will never be gone from number one. This movie made me figure out I like movies. That's what this movie did for me. I was pretty young when I saw this. It's just so it's just so interesting. This is Brad Pitt's best movie. This is David Fincher's best movie. One of Morgan Freeman's best movies. I mean, I think Shawshank might be better, but the twist in this movie is fantastic. You see Kevin Spacey, which is crazy to me. I don't want to give anything away because you need to watch. This is the greatest movie of all time. If you watch this movie, you will understand what I'm talking about. But when Kevin Spacey shows up, you get chills. You get literal chills. But no, basically what this movie is about is Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are detectives. They're trying to figure out crimes that have been happening from somebody that's been doing the 7 deadly sins. Like, each crime has something to do with one of the 7 deadly sins. Gwyneth Paltrow's in this movie as well. Pretty integral part of the movie, I would say. Oh yeah, Arlie Ermey is in it. That like drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. He's just like, Detective Mills, do your job. I've seen this probably, I don't know, 5, 6 times or something. And every time I watch it, I'm just like, my eyes are glued to the screen because I'm like, this, like, I can't not watch it. Does it have flaws? Of course. People have said, like, you know, plenty of flaws in the movie. I get it. And I think if this movie didn't have such a big impact on my life, I might have it lower. I can't have it any lower than my number one because it's just my heart. Every time I watch this, just, it glows, man. This movie's great. Watch it, really. Let's take a look at all of them kind of in a big list, and I'll kind of go through what I have to say about them anyways. Let's get to that. So as you can see here, this is them ranked 1 to 11. We started with Alien 3. We went up to 7. The top 5 right there are some of the best movies ever created. 1 and 2 are in my top 20 probably. Alien 3, Mink, and Benjamin Button are stinkers, I would say. You basically have Panic Room, The Game, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo are really good movies in their own right. Other than that, man, I think what I would recommend is the top 4 for sure. No, scrap that. Top 5. Because you have to watch a Fight Club. You have to. I would not recommend Alien 3. But if you're trying to watch all the Alien movies, I get it. You have to watch it, and I'm sorry. I definitely wouldn't recommend Mink if you're not into like cinema at all. It's not something I looked forward to watching, and then every moment I was watching it, I was just bored out of my mind. But that's my list, man. 1 to 11, good list? Question mark? Let me know down below, for real. If you would have Fight Club at number 1, which most people probably would. Let me know that. I'm interested to hear. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about. David Fincher is really good at making movies, so watch his movies. Anyways, that's enough from me. It's been Simply Mason. It's been really fun talking about David Fincher. I like talking about this kind of stuff. If you want to see more rankings, let me know, because I have plenty of other directors that I've seen all their movies, and I love talking about this stuff. Other than that, guys, it's been fun. I'll link all my socials down below in the description. So go follow me on like Letterboxd so you can see what I'm watching every day. That'd be cool. And then follow me on Twitter. I think that's a cool place to hear my takes as well. Other than that, it's good talking to you guys. And like and subscribe. And I'll love you forever. All right. Peace, guys.